What's up, y'all? Today's video I'm going to be talking about color mosh. What is color mosh? It's basically the funnest, simplest, easiest, coolest, maybe not the coolest, but it's a way to make glitchy Dariacore hyperflip type music, and I'm going to be breaking down how this template works and telling you how you can get it or how you can make your own. It's going to be $3 on Gumroad, or you can get it on Patreon if you're already on the Patreon page or whatever. So let me just show you really quick how this works, or actually rather what it does and what it sounds like. So you may be saying, what's going on here? And if you are, that's okay. I'm about to tell you what's going on. Basically, we have all of these top pieces are routed into, where's my mixer at? They're all routed into the same color mosh channel. So if you were to make your own version of this, the first thing you want to do is get a bunch of different samples and route them all into the same color mosh track. Now in this color mosh track, there's a gross beat with two things automated. First, you're going to right click in here. You're going to click this thing here. It's grayed out right now. It says edit events in piano roll. And then you're going to take the pattern that it jumps into and you're going to name it mosh pattern. Okay. And that's going to go right here. This is your mosh pattern right here. Now what you can do, since you've set that up, is anytime you click in here, oh, I don't want to mess my pattern up. Well, it's too late. It's been messed up. Anytime you click in here, it picks a different little slice to play. Hopefully that's the same one. It doesn't really matter. So as you can see, it's not going to be playing the stuff because it's not switched on, because that's the second thing you want to automate. But as you can see here, it's now all, changing between patterns there. Now it didn't do anything, it sounded like. And the reason it didn't is because the mosh switch here, you need to set that up too. That's important for if you're doing your own project file. It gives you more flexibility later on in the process. So you're going to go in here, you're going to create an automation clip. That automation clip here is just going to be an on-off switch. If you want to get really technical and not have any gray stuff in there, you can go to link to controller here and set it to be switch. That way it rounds the input and it never goes to like 50%, right? It's either at 0 or at 100. So now the gross beat being on, it's hocketing between these different little patches in specifically the juggling science patch. I didn't make my own for this. I do have one called Meat Basher that I use, but I haven't finished it yet, as you can see. So I'm going to probably, distribute that once it's completed. It'll be like an add-on to this template that I'm already building right now. I'll probably do a couple of them actually, because it's so fun and easy to do it this way. So it's just hocketing between the gross beat. Now, if you're thinking, oh, I don't know how to use gross beat, I don't want to, work on, I don't want to do this, I don't know how gross beat works, it's okay. You just use juggling science, done. That's the only thing you have to do. And now you're really just saying, like, what randomization do I want? So I want to try this one, I want to try this one, I want to try this one, right? Yeah, that one sucked. This one I should just delete out of there. I think it's the French house one or some shit. Which one is it? Yeah, Frenchy. French people, man. What are you doing? And sometimes they just don't work, but I've spent enough time kind of explaining how this is set up. So then to explain how the top half is set up, what you're going to want to do here is go in and I'll just show you how to do one of these. So let's get a melodic thing out of here. That is so loud. That's all right. We'll turn it down a little bit. So you're going to get something like that, and then you're going to take it and just stretch it to be the project tempo. So I'm going to set it to generic mode, and then I'm assuming that that's this many bars. We'll go ahead and verify. Trust but verify. Yeah, so that's in the correct thing. And then for this particular project, I already, kind of have this written. So when you open this project for the first time, if you get the project file, it says rainbow stems. They're all synced to tempo. So you want to sync anything that, if you're making your own, you're going to take the sample and sync it to tempo, and then you're going to pitch it to C major. So if it's a major sample, you're going to take it, and this one's a G major. So I'm going to pitch this one. It's a G sharp major actually. Yeah, G sharp, go 1, 2, 3, 4 up, right? And you can just do that there. And then I like to change it to stretch mode. And the reason I like to do that is because then you can do tempo automations and it still will work. You don't have to like restretch it. Whereas if it's in generic mode, and you change the project tempo there, you can see it messes it up. So I like to do mine in stretch mode. And make sure it's set to the correct length. All right, so I have tempo synced and pitched it to C major. That means if it's an A minor sample, you know, you have to correlate the minors to the majors. So hopefully you know enough music theory to do that. Just get it all into one key. That's all I'm trying to say here. And then route them all to the color mosh bus, which I already showed. So basically in this template now, I have the top piece is just like a sound palette that you can kind of sample from. So like if I turn my little playback tool on, I can go in here and just pick cool sections out of it that I want to mosh up, right? And that's something that I've already kind of done. So as you can see, there's a third lane in here that I haven't talked about yet, and that is the stuff lane. Let me turn the stuff on. And the stuff is useful for putting stuff. So like in here, the project starts with two little sidechain inputs, and that is what the color mosh is routed into. This. Well, let me turn this on wider so you can kind of see. All this stuff that's routed to color mosh is then routed into the sidechain track, and I have it preset up with two sidechain triggers here. So you can basically just treat these as like their own little sidechain clips. So whenever you're adding drums, you have like a snare sidechain that's super short maybe, and then like a kick that's maybe a little longer, a little different, or two different drums. It doesn't have to be a kick and a snare. Then I've taken just already some pieces that I liked, right? I went through and sampled out some pieces of this to make stuff out of. So now I'm going to go in here and repeat the process, or kind of repeat it. And let me show the first way to use this. So I have in here, I'm just going to kind of describe from here. So if you like open this project, you don't have to come back to this video. One way to use this template: use the top half as a sound palette. Pick a slice from the sound palette and place it below the Mosh Controls. So right now it's in the stuff lane, but let's put a piece down below the Mosh Controls. Using the mosh pattern clip and mosh switch, give the signal a good moshing. So let's give this a shot. I'll do this one, I'll do this one. And let's see if we can get something cool out of this really quickly. Gotta turn it on. Okay, so it's doing nothing. Let's turn it on. Okay, so we're gonna have to go a little more predictable here. Just do one. Okay, so I'm already telling one of the things that I can hear off this is I don't love the stabbiness right there. Let's start with like 2 hits of this and then go into a stab. Oh, and this one just plays the first piece over and over again, so. Right, so we might have that play for 4 bars or 8 bars or whatever. Pick another piece out here. Now we'll have a resolution at the end. So that'll go there. This will go here. Then I'll copy my first 2 pieces over. Bam. And then I'm just gonna okay, so I like the second half better. I'm gonna just kind of try and make something live out of this. Oh, I'm sorry, I like the second half, not the first half. What are you doing, man? What are you doing right now? Okay, so we'll have this play for a bit. And let's just call that 8 bars. Now the next piece of advice that I have here for you is read this. So this is 2 ways to do this. This is the first way that I'm showing here, but use some good tips on these. So add post effects to your color mosh mixer track, render your color mosh patterns as you go. So I'm about to do that. Remosh your rendered patterns. Okay, so let's see what these little tips tell you. First things first, let's go into my color mosh here, and I like to kind of like float through here and just do random stuff. Let's get it saturated. And then I'll add something to the top end of this. This is kind of turning into more of a tutorial than I wanted, but we'll just kind of flow with it here. Get a chorus and have it only affect the high end. I'm going to send that heavier through the OTT. Now, one more thing, God, that's making my ears ring. Okay, one more thing that you can do here is change the tension of this. So as you can see, backwards is tighter, so it just means that these little shapes here, the tension's tighter. Somebody's texting me. The tension's a little tighter, and you can change your attack and release too. So let me keep playing it and just adjust those more. Okay, so let's call that the first piece. That is really making my ears ring. I don't really produce with headphones on too much. So we're going to render my first 8 bars. Get this going here. And that, I typically will also store this up in stuff. But I'm not going to for this case. So that's done. Let me just go ahead and delete that. We've used that piece. That's nice and fun. Now, what do we want to try next? Let's just give it a shot. Okay, another cool trick that you can use, if I slide this back, I should have it further in the project here, is get like the on-off switch involved. So what the on-off switch is useful for is, like, let's say you don't want your whole thing here. Let me turn this back off. You don't want your whole color mosh pattern to be all moshed up. That's a good way to like hawk it between on and off for that. And it's really useful to have it on the off beats, because the on beats, it's like kind of like it's playing this clip and then it's playing mosh and then it's playing the next portion of the clip. So if you do like one of these maneuvers here, where you like have different starting pieces, you're going to basically have like a little quick mosh going on here. And then you know what else we can do is manually mosh it. So this is kind of the first and second ways to do this. So the manual mosh would be like, just go in here and get yourself some slices out. Those are at a quarter note. So instead of that, let's do like one like that. And then the next one will be like a quick. Is that triplets? I don't want triplets. Triplets are evil. Nothing more evil in this world than a damn triplet, man, I tell you. I knew triplets as a kid. They were bad. They're bad people. Any triplets watching right now, I meant that with all my fucking heart. You guys are bad. All right, let's see if this even sounds like anything. And then I'm probably going to have to cut this off so you can hear that stutter there. Okay. So now... Okay, so that's some kind of working thing. Let's see if it works with my flippy. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and just give it some accenting hits here and pull that last beat off again. So just copy this over and we'll get a different piece. Right, just super quick, easy way to make glitchy stuff. This is probably going to sound much better without the high pass on it. take this and slam it. This is turning into more of a tutorial than I was meaning to. It's more supposed to be just a demo, but... And now I can go in here and like chop pieces out of it, right? So it's kind of like an adding and then subtracting game, so... And I don't want to do all this live, so let me just mix some pieces in here. Okay, let's give that a shot. Just render that full piece. So now we have the flippy and the dippy. We'll make this red because it's cool. Dippy. And just delete all this. I mean, I could keep it and try and make more out of it, but I'm trying to go quickly. So now we can use these two together. And a quick pause while I cut these out because this is just going to sound more better with space. So now I've gone in and just chopped the same pieces of all this out, and I'm going to go into my flippy and just make a little volume envelope here. So a little exiting envelope so it doesn't click. So now I'm going to go in and get a drum out of the odds and ends loop, the break loops that I just added. Nah, not that one. Kind of like that one. Let's try Splinter. Oh, that's cool as hell. Okay, so we'll keep Splinter and then we'll do Splinter Jiggy later, which is like a -12, which is like a pitch -12 pitch. It's a it's like a little, whatchamacallit, it's the same break but with, right, it's that same break but with turntablist shit in it. So now I'm going to use these two. So then you take your little pieces that you made, add drums, right? Take your drums, route them to the drum track. Make this clap louder. Route all your melodic stuff into the sidechain channel, and then the kick is going to duck behind this. Let me just make sure my kick is like relatively ducked well. You can do that by routing it into the sidechain and just... Yeah, it's clipping some of it, but not all of it. And I'm just going to go in and do a little edit to this kick, which is make the transient, the high end, stronger, because I'm hearing it a lot in the low end, but not in the high end. There we go. Super punchy. I should have did that when I made it originally. Then add some claps. Right, and then we're going to add the splinter in here. We could just go in and clip pieces out of the splinter. Hopefully this, I'm not going to keep going with this because you hopefully should get the idea by now of what I'm going for here. Basically just cutting all the claps out. where the claps are. But bring it down volume wise and cut some of the low mids out. Yeah, and then just go copy this half into the second half. So you're kind of getting a little live demo of how this works. Right, so that's basically how this thing works. The other thing that I will say before I end this video, I should have started talking about this earlier, way earlier. There's a couple other little tips I want to give before I end this one. So that's a little how to make a beat tutorial, and also let me show you something that's pretty useful to do. So let's say we have this that we want to use, and we also have this that we want to use. And we send them into the mosh together. They're going into the mosh, baby. Let me actually move this whole thing over. Not those two, but all this. And I'm going to move this down and slide this all the way over here. And I want to do something right that's like a mixture of these two. A useful thing to do is to go in here and say, which one's the low end? Let's call this the high end. It seems like it's got a little more high end energy. You can add pre-effects, which is really cool. So let's get a little ping pong delay going. And I would probably not do that with a low end sample, but this one's going to be our low end here, and I'm just going to choose a different slice out of it. But oh, it's already being low cut. Oh no. Oh no, it's just the piece with no bass. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. So now you're sending two different signal paths into it. Oh, that's why it doesn't have any low end. There we go. Get rid of the Pro Q3. Right, so you can send two signals into it and just cut different sections, so you're using the two different sections. What's the other little pieces of advice I've given here? So overlapping patterns. Set weird chop patterns, then mosh them. What do I mean by this? Well, there's another way. There's another way to use this. This is the other way. Ignore the Mosh Controls completely, so just turn that off, and then use your sound palette to make your own like custom slice patterns. So what I mean by that is, like, we would say, so if you're not so much of a mosher, you're more of a chillin' type dude, what I would recommend is just getting yourself a couple pieces, and don't go all from the beginning. That's one of the other things, is like the good pieces of this a lot of times are like towards the middle or the end, and I'm just gonna get 1, 2, that'll be my 4 slice. And then I'm gonna do what I did with the color mosh pattern thing without it. So I've turned my moshing off here, right? I have my mosh switch just basically flat lined out, and I'll copy that over so it doesn't accidentally turn back on. And then I'm gonna go in here and just cut these each into like one little section of this. So we'll just start with that much of this. I'll use this as the second piece, so we'll go. Yeah, this is a little as you can see, it's not quite as set it and forget it, but you can get way more interesting shit doing this because you have so much more granularity is the word I would use. You can really pick exactly what you want to happen. So I'm not going to spend too much time doing this. Hopefully this gives you the idea, and don't hear this result and be like, well, that way sucks. This is the better way. This just, it takes way longer. And then one of the good ways to randomize it is to just grab the whole thing and just slide all of them at once and just see if that works. Okay, so you get the idea there. And I might even just clip this out and like make this one of the sections of the song, because I don't really like this part too much, but you get the idea. You can go in, ignore the Mosh Controls, manually choose the slices from the palette. The one thing I will say is don't go all sound, no silence. The best patterns I tend to find have a little bit of breath in them, so. Right? You don't want to go all noise all the time, or else they'll be like, well, it's just kind of slapping me in the face, you know? Some of you know. Some of you definitely know when it's just slapping you in the face. I know, dude, when it's just slapping me right in the face. I don't know that. Well, no, I'm not gonna take it back. No takes these back. Sometimes it does smack me in the face. I'm just like, oh, how dare you? All right, that was inappropriate. Let's continue this video so I don't have to edit that part out. If I just act like it didn't happen when it smacked me in the face, it's probably not even that funny of a joke too. I just can't help it. What's the next piece of advice I would give for when it smacks you in the face? Yeah. Set weird chop patterns and then mosh them. So this is the next thing that I would say is, oh, I made this piece and it sucks. I failed as a father once again, dude. Put this like this. Do this, click this, make sure you click that. Don't do this, but do this instead. There we go. Yeah. Progression is another one that is just my bane. Frenchie and progression, dude. Yeah, so that's another trick I would say is do combine this way with this way. What else do we have? Load up the stuff channel with your own sounds. So like if you're doing this and you're like, I'm enjoying this. This is a fun time. Go grab yourself some of your samples, some of your sounds, some of the stuff that I didn't include in here, and just put it in the stuff lane and use that as like another thing to do to add sound design with. So you don't have to like constantly going to your sample library. You're just like, I love this kick. Let me put that in the thing to use it. That was a good kick, by the way. That's not a good kick. The last one is use the 2 side chains. I already showed that. So with that being shown, if you want to get this template, it's going to be on Gumroad. It's going to be $3. That's the same price as Patreon, but you just don't, if you don't fuck with Patreon, I get it. I wouldn't want to pay some random person or some person I like on the internet $3 a month either, because I would definitely forget. And I want you to. If you've signed up for Patreon, don't think about it ever again. Just pay me that money. You don't have to worry about it. It's $3. You're not going to miss it. Come on now. I need it. I need it, please. I want to quit my job so badly. But yeah, with that being shown, y'all, that's gonna do it for this video. It's so late at night. I will see you guys in the next one. Go buy this thing. If you don't want to buy it, I showed you how to make it. Thank you and good night. Goodbye.